everyone, you're watching Global Leaders Network, WINTV. I'm your host, Yun. There are many leaders globally in areas such as government, business, non-for-profit organization, our industry, hospital, education, etc. Global Leaders Network invites these leaders and shares wonderful stories. Today, I invited someone from fashion and beauty field. Victoria Ng, right?
Yes.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Oh, I forgot. Ni hao.
Oh, ni hao. Thank you so much for having me. This is such an honor.
Oh, you're welcome. So, I know you are the founder of Miss Chinese Chicago.
Yes.
But you also have many titles. Can you tell us about yourself a little bit?
Yes, so I competed in a total of 8 pageants, and I have won the titles of Miss Friendship Ambassador 2011 and Miss Congeniality, Miss Friendship Ambassador 2015 Second Princess, Miss Asia 2014, as well as Miss Chicago Chinatown 2016.
Wow. So why did you come up with this idea to launch your own beauty pageant?
Yes, so having competed in many pageants, I've grown as a woman, I've become more self-confident, and I'm very comfortable in my skin. I wanted to give the same opportunity to other young women in my community, and that's why I started the pageant.
Wow. So, have you ever met other pageants in the past, like other beauties, and then what do you see? Are they similar to Chinese? Will Chinese beauty pageants and compared to United States, and also will Chinese beauty pageants? Which one you think that is more suitable for the beauty industry?
I think that the beauty industry sometimes has a misconception about what beauty pageants are about. Even though there is the word beauty in beauty pageants, I think beauty pageants actually exceed that expectation. We are about women who are leaders in their fields, who are extremely intelligent and passionate, and I hope that more beauty pageants can focus on that aspect.
I see. But I want to ask you right now that how to walk. Is that okay to ask
Sure.
you? And I want to just teach me how to walk on one way. You know, I really want to do it in the past. So please show me.
Absolutely. So first you want to start with one hand on your hip.
Like this?
Yes, like that. The other arm should be right down by your side,
Okay.
and your hand should be relaxed.
Okay.
Then you want one foot facing directly towards the audience, and the other foot either at 10 or 2.
Or 2.
And you want to twist the top part of your body towards the audience to give yourself an S-curve. This is the pageant pose.
Oh, I see. It's great. Thank you so much, Victoria.
Absolutely. And if you want to do a fashion show pose, you could spread your legs apart a bit, one foot facing forward and the other facing at 11 o'clock. Either both arms on your hips or both arms down, a little bit rolled shoulders, and neck tall.
This is too difficult.
You got this.
Okay. Thank you so much. It was fun.
Absolutely.
But I realized that that's not for me.
I actually think you're a natural.
No, I'd rather sing. Very kind of you.
Thank you.
Oh, what are the advantages of entering the beauty pageant from your perspective?
Yes, I think especially in the Asian community, there is not enough representation of female leaders. And so entering a beauty pageant allows you to meet other leaders within the community who are female, who are just as passionate about growing themselves. And so the main benefit that I see in competing in beauty pageants in general is gaining a set of sisters. And that's the thing that I've told my contestants time and time again. The relationships you build in this pageant will live way beyond any titles, any prize money, and I hope that they recognize that.
Oh, I see. Wow. Can you actually put me there?
I may end up being more involved with an Asian pageant, yes, rather than Chinese specific, but I would love to have you.
But you know what? I don't think that my age is really fit that in the field, you know, so. But how would you mind to maybe tell us about your family and then Where you grew up in the Chicago area or even China. Can you tell us about yourself more?
Yes, so I grew up in Skokie, and I lived there pretty much my whole life until I got my first job in the city, moved to the South Loop of Chicago, and when I started working in the city, I realized that there was definitely a difference in culture. I was immersed with more diversity. I got to learn how to be more professional. And after working for many years, competing in pageants for years, I think I've grown as a woman. Just last year, I actually got married to the love of my life.
Wow. Show some pictures later.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what did your parents say about you entering the beauty pageant?
They were actually the ones who encouraged me to in the first place. I was extremely shy growing up. I did not want to get out of my shell, didn't want to try anything new. And my parents told me, I think you should give it a shot. And so after I received their encouragement, I tried it for the first time in 2011 and I was hooked. I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed my experience. I made great friends out of it, and I would highly recommend it to anyone.
Wow, great. But let me ask you another question. Because I was actually a Miss University in South Korea.
Wow.
2003. If I recall it right, it's 2003. But I see some of the men actually misled the beauty pageant a little bit.
Yes.
And what do you think about this? And then how can we improve the beauty pageant?
Yes, I think especially in Asia, there's a misconception that women in beauty pageants are easily accessible, if you will, that you could mistreat them, you could be disrespectful towards them. And some pageants tolerate that behavior, but mine absolutely does not. Our Miss Chinese Chicago pageant actually has a harassment policy and code of conduct where we specifically list out that you cannot act inappropriately towards any of our future, former, current contestants. Otherwise, we will kick you out of events. And if you do pursue that action, we will file a restraining order. We take harassment extremely seriously because all of our women carry themselves in a manner that is respectable. They truly value themselves as individuals. They have achieved many accomplishments in their lives, and no human deserves to be treated in such a way.
And if you want to say about your vision in beauty industry and then your pageant, what is it?
My vision is that we would want to give a platform to more young women in the community to become future leaders in whatever fields they're in. There are some contestants who are very passionate about the arts. We have women in STEM in our group. We have women who do a variety of things. And I want them to be able to have a platform to shine and become the leaders that inspire a next generation of women to be open-minded, to be confident in themselves and passionate about what they're doing.
Do you want to encourage other people to enter beauty pageants?
Absolutely. Although I would say not every beauty pageant is equally made. Some pageants, their goal is mostly focused on talent or focused on Q&A. My focus, the pageant for the Miss Chinese Chicago pageant is focused on being involved with the community, being engaged with a cause or a nonprofit. And so I would suggest that to anyone who's interested in growing themselves as an individual, definitely do your research. Figure out which pageant is the right fit for you.
I see. So what about the young women, like high schoolers? Can you tell them, can you recommend what kind of beauty industry they should first join if they're thinking about it at this point?
Yes, so not to toot my own horn, but I highly suggest that they start with the Miss Chinese Chicago pageant because we truly train each of our contestants in how to carry themselves, poise and confidence, how to work on their Q&A, how to be more involved with the community. We actually, our 2018 court, they had volunteered over 62 volunteer group hours, and that speaks to the community in a way such that the community starts to believe that these pageant girls are not just pretty girls with a crown and sash, but they're much more than that.
Oh, I see. What is your mission statement for your beauty pageant then?
Yes, it is to foster the next generation of female Chinese American leaders.
So they have to be Chinese.
For my pageant specifically.
Okay.
But possibly in the future, be more engaged with other Asian general pageants, Pan-Asian pageants, if you will. And actually, our queen from 2018 represented Chicago in Miss Chinatown USA, and she won the titles of Miss Congeniality and Miss Community Service. And our first princess of 2018, Jamie Moy, will be representing Chicago in Miss Asian Global, which is a Pan-Asian global pageant in San Francisco.
I see. What do they do after they receive the title and they have a sash all over, and then they usually go to the organization, even festival, and they introduce themselves. And I was wondering, and then after that, what do they do?
After that, they engage with the community. We've had a meet and greet last year in 2018, where after all of our 2018 court performed their talent, they all sat down and talked with the public about identity. That is a key component of our pageant because it is a Chinese heritage pageant. We ask the questions, what does it mean to be a modern Chinese American woman? How do you define your Chinese identity and how do you relate to the community in that manner? And those are questions that the public had, and they answered them.
Oh, I see, I see. Do you have other hobbies that sort of, being on the founder of your organization and also doing the MC job and the runway show? Do you have any other hobbies outside of that?
Yes, so as you mentioned, I do a lot of runway as a model, but I also started Asian Fashion Show Chicago, which is the same day as the pageant on August 31st. And the goal of that fashion show is to give a platform for Asian designers and Asian models, because I think that in the fashion industry, Asians are grossly underrepresented.
Yeah, but what do you do when you have a spare time?
So my day job is actually a data engineer. I work at Tempest. It's a bioinformatics company. But when I do have some spare time, I tend to actually work with my pageant girls even more. So I have one-on-ones with them to work on their individual aspects to improve themselves.
I see. So your actual hobby is the work.
Yes.
You know what it says? It's called workaholic. And then you're facing another one here.
Absolutely. I know that you have many hobbies as well and that you're involved with so many different parts of the community, and I'm thoroughly impressed and very honored.
Thank you so much. By the way, what do you want to see in the future? Where do you want to go in the future?
Personally.
Oh, yeah, personally.
Personally, I haven't thought about that too much in the moment because I'm so focused on the pageant. But because my identity, I think, and I hope this answers the question, my identity is very imbued with the pageant. As the pageant grows, I feel I grow as an individual because I learned so much from each of my contestants. And I think their feedback has helped me realize where my strengths and weaknesses are, and also guide myself in terms of how do I become a better mentor. I think that's my ultimate life goal, is to be a mentor for even more young women in the community.
Do you have any tip for how to do your makeup and even hair and how to smile?
Yeah, I'll go one by one. So for the makeup, I think really focus on the eyes, for me at least, especially as Asians. We tend to like to make our eyes pop. And I know that you're great with makeup as well. I think we have similar styles. I think for smiling, you want to focus on just being comfortable with who you are as a person. I know sometimes we tend to focus on, we look in the mirror and we go, oh, I don't like this or this aspect of ourselves. But at the end of the day, we're beautiful from the inside out. And so I hope that everyone could recognize that and smile. And then for the hair, I actually work with Michaela Agins in almost all of my events. I have her do my hair, so I can't take credit for it today.
That was a secret, I guess.
It is, she is my secret weapon.
I have my question to you. Maybe it's a personal, but too personal. How do you maintain your body figure? It's you have to maintain, otherwise you can't represent the beauty industry anymore, right? So how do you maintain your body?
Yes, I actually worked with a personal trainer. Her name's Angelina Liovino, and she is fantastic. Now my husband actually works with her as well. And she has taught me how to truly hone in on where are areas of improvement for strength. I think we tend to focus on how do we slim down, but truly, in her perspective, and now I've adopted that as well, is that we want to work on our core, be strong, work on toning, but at the same time, not just how it looks, but how you feel from the inside out.
Oh, I see. But what about the eating part?
The eating part is tough. I did become a vegan in 2017. Wow. So I've cut out a lot of the fat in my diet because of that. Granted, I do have a major sweet tooth, so I still cheat on desserts. Yes.
I do that all the time. I said to everybody, oh, I'm going to stop eating this. And the next day I'm like,
where is it? Where's that cupcake?
And then hiding it, right?
Right.
But it doesn't help really with your weight, you know. So I think that what you said is really important, that we have to eat right, and also we have to exercise to maintain our figure, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you have other questions or even comments towards our audiences? Do you want to know anything about the Asian communities in a global network in the future?
Yeah, so actually Conwin had reached out to me. I'm not sure if everyone's familiar, but Conwin is a organization within, I believe, the Korean community that focuses on helping victims of domestic abuse and violence. And they reached out because they wanted to table at Asian Fashion Show Chicago. I thought that was fantastic. And I hope that there are more initiatives within the Pan-Asian community that we collaborate more.
Right.
I've done activities with KCC, with TAP Chicago, and I think reaching out to different parts of the Asian community will help us grow together. And so my question for the Korean community is, what is your perspective on having a more tight-knit Pan-Asian community in Chicago, and how have you all taken steps towards reaching out to other communities, and how would you like other communities to reach out to you? Because I know there's sometimes, even within our Asian community, there's different mannerisms. So I know in Korean, there are different ways of saying things more formally and informally, and I sometimes don't know those things. But if you and other people in the Korean community could teach me, I'd thoroughly appreciate that.
I can do that. By the way, the reason that the Korean community right now, we do not have a Korean town really. We spread out so much. So it's really hard for us to gather at some point.
Yeah.
So I think that in the future, what we can do is that make some good events. You know, bring all of them in on the same table so that they can see how we can collaborate together, you know?
Absolutely.
And also beauty industry. I think that we can do that too in the future.
Absolutely. I love Korean products.
Have you ever tried Korean food too?
I love Korean food. Especially Korean ramen. It's my favorite.
But ramen has so much sodium.
It does, and it's very unhealthy. I try to avoid as much as I can. Yes.
I take it sometimes in Korean ramen, and I say that, oh man, this is so addictive. This is because this is so spicy. It tastes so good, you know. You know.
Lots of flavor.
Yeah, lots of flavor. And then there's a special about this shinramen. Do you know shinramen?
I haven't tried it yet.
Oh, you should try it. But it's not going to help you out with your figure, maintain your figure. Just let you know.
Thank you for the heads up.
In the meantime, would you like to help other organizations?
Absolutely. Yes, and so how I brought up Conwin, I absolutely would like to have Conwin table at Asian Fashion Show, at Miss Chinese Chicago. I know there are other great organizations in the Korean community, and I'd like to do more collaborations.
I see. I think we can find that together.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Do you have any comments and any words that you want to share to our audiences today?
I would just like to say thank you so much. I don't want to butcher it, but I will try. So, 안녕하세요, 감사합니다.
Oh, yeah, the perfect pronunciation.
감사합니다.
Let me try it the other way then.
Okay.
你好, 谢谢您.
谢谢. And thank you so much for having me today. It was such an honor.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime, anytime. And we got to work it together to make the fashion industry in an Asian community.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, great.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching Global Leaders Network WINTV. If you want to watch this again, you can watch this through our website and YouTube. But don't forget to subscribe us. Please put the subscribe. I want to see all of you next Thursday. And until then, 9 p.m. By the way, it's 9 p.m. Until then, have a wonderful week. Bye-bye, everyone.